I feel like walking around with a camera is going to get me shot or stabbed around here, so we'll keep this brief.
Every photographer I follow seems to live 5 minutes away from a mountain range or a coastline.
The only thing 5 minutes away from me is a McDonald's.
I live in a really boring part of America. Flat farmland, nondescript towns. I've been all around the US. And every time I come home, it's hard to find motivation, stood in front of a window deciding if I could be bothered to go out or not.
And that's what's been annoying me.
Like, photography only counts when landscape is doing half the work for you. This can't carry on, there's only one thing for it.
So I've given myself a stupid challenge with some stupid rules. Rule number 1, you need to pull over at the soonest safe space once you've hit that mile marker. So you can't just coast along for a few hundred meters until you find somewhere pretty good. Rule number 2, you can't walk any further than 25 meters from where you've stopped. So I'm not going to be doing a little hike to try and get a better spot. Rule number 3, you can only take one photo. I'm not going to burst fire loads of images, take as many as I can and then pick the best one. One photo. The 4th rule, no AI tools. That's AI remove as well as trying to put Godzilla in the background to spice up a boring photo. And the 5th and final rule is that I can only use the 24 to 70 millimeter range. At the moment I'm feeling 70% confident. There we go. This place doesn't look so bad. All right, here's the first place we've arrived. I'll show you, I'll give you a quick pan. One photo, I can't walk further than 25 meters. Now I'm instantly drawn to the jetty. I think this is quite an easy first stop, so let's take a wander over here. There's the car over there, you can just see it, so I'm within 25 meters. No cheating going on here, thank you very much. If we turn around and look, this is what's caught my eye. In the background, you've got that bridge. So I'm gonna wait for a car to cross it and then I'm gonna take a picture. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up my camera with like a square aspect ratio. As long as you do that when shooting RAW, you shouldn't notice any difference in your shots because it still restores all the information and it just helps you compose a shot. So let's see how that turns out. Bosh, shot number 1 complete. I feel like this one was pretty easy. It's more my style, you know, kind of landscapey, lots of trees, away from people. So why have I chosen to do this challenge? Well, simply put, I do this commute all the time, obviously. And I'll sit on this commute thinking where I can conjure up my next landscape adventure, where I can fly off to get away from here. And I think I've been a bit of a hypocrite because I've said there's always a photo to be taken, which I do believe, but I've always just written off this area because I think it's boring. And I want to see if my photography has come along to the point that I can actually go to somewhere that I would consider to be boring. And it's probably similar to where you live as well. I don't mean any offence to that, but I think most of us believe that where we live is boring and all the best photos to be taken are somewhere else. So I'm hopefully going to prove some of those misconceptions wrong, if they are misconceptions, and show you that actually you don't need to jump on a flight to go and take some awesome photos. Who knows? We'll soon find out. All right, next mile, somewhere to pull over. I'm gonna pull into here on the left, see what we find. I wouldn't say this place is the nicest of areas. I feel like walking around with a camera is gonna get me shot or stabbed around here, so we'll keep this brief. Here's the car, and welcome to the middle of nowhere. All right, this has only taken me like 10 seconds to find my subject. So again, I feel like this is cheating a little bit, but I've just come across this, which I've never seen before. The Whitehall Jail. I mean, that looks absolutely insane. I've never seen this before. So obviously I've got to choose this. This isn't going quite as I expected. I was hoping it'd be a little bit more boring than this, but what are the chances? Looking around my local area, I found some cool stuff. So let's take full advantage of this while we can. Guys, I apologise. This is honestly not turning into the video I thought it would be. I honestly thought it would be a lot more boring. Luckily, where we're about to head now is just farmland, so hopefully that proves my point a bit more. But this is kind of proving the point that, you know, like, just by doing this challenge, I've got to go out and see my local area and found some cool spots that I've driven past and never noticed before, so maybe there's 2 benefits to doing this challenge. One thing I don't think you'll appreciate watching this on YouTube is the logistics and how difficult this challenge is. If it was up to me, I would be walking this or doing it on push bike. unfortunately, where I live, you either drive or you stay at home. There are no footpaths, sidewalks. You can't ride a bike. I mean, you can ride a push bike, but you're signing your death warrant pretty much. So unfortunately, I'm having to do this in my car, and that's why I chose to do it on my commute to work. But further to that, you just can't pull over anywhere. Like, it's either private property or a road. That's it. So, and especially around here in some of these rural areas of eastern North Carolina, if you pull over and start setting up a tripod to film yourself taking a photo, you're going to get people coming out asking you what you're doing. Please appreciate that. Like and subscribe. Hi guys, welcome to the next stop. This might be a bit more difficult. Well, this is going to be hard. This looks to be by far the most difficult stop, the most nondescript stop. I'm finding that tree just coming up over here to be quite interesting. I reckon if we wait for a car to pass, try slowing down the shutter speed again, it might look quite good. But right now I'm a weirdo on the side of the road, just waiting for a car, like the highwayman of 2026. So the biggest issue I've had is not having my ND filters with me. I quite like the cars driving past and that blurred effect to show the speed, show the motion. But all I can do is go to f22, which means the photos aren't as sharp. But it's about the best I can do with these stupid limitations I've given myself on this city challenge. Also can't open my door. Now I've got a hypothesis as to why I think this challenge is going to be helpful for you to watch at home. You know, I grew up in the UK and most recently was living in Yorkshire. In Yorkshire there's medieval minsters, castles, and I completely took it for granted. I didn't find it that interesting at all. And then when I came here and I've showed people pictures of where I live, they're blown away. And it reminded me of when I first moved here 2 years ago. I was so excited by the smallest of things, like the size of the roads, even the yellow paint markings in the middle of the road. I was like, oh wow, look at that, I've never seen that before. That's just like what I've seen in the films. I think you just become numb to it there, because now I think that it's just boring. And clearly it wasn't at some point. I found it interesting. Yeah, I guess my hypothesis is you just get numb to where you live. You don't see the beauty anymore. And that's why I think hopefully this reminds me of what is good around here, why I think you should probably try taking more photos in places that you think are boring, because they're probably not that boring. It's just boring to you because it's what you know. I feel like I'm cheating again because there's cows here. Cows! Easy to take photos of. Even Queen Elizabeth loved cows. Okay, here's the car parked up. Horrible busy road. And then just got this little farm here. These cows. Check them out. This one's called Colin. I've decided. Get a real close-up of like this one's eye or something, but I can't. I'm limited to 24 to 70, and it's quite a busy background. You can see you've got all those telephone lines and cars going past. It's quite noisy. It's not actually that pleasant. So this isn't actually going to be as easy as I first thought. You know, the final reason why I'm doing this, I think, is because, as I've said, I've been fortunate enough to go to all these great places, but the landscape's doing most of the work for me. Here, I've got to look, I've got to see, which is a skill in itself, and it will really help advance my capabilities, my eye for landscape photography. And also it allows me to branch out as well. You know, not all photos have to be of stunning vistas. You know, there's a lot of beauty that you can find in sometimes the simplicity of life. And let's see if that fifth and final one offers the same thing for me. I think this is about as close as we're going to get. I'm going to pull into this Shell garage. A Shell gas station, one of the most cliche photos you can get. Very hipster. I might start wearing Carhartt beanie hats in the middle of the summer. I think it should be quite easy. We'll see. Time to go into the edit now, see how they look. I also want to move my car because I've parked this like an absolute moron.
Now the question that you'll ultimately ask is, Ben, did you cheat? And to that I say yes. Yeah, I absolutely did. I did cheat, but only on one of the rules, and I was just taking more photos than I said I would. I said I'd take 1 photo per location. I ended up taking more. That was just because I was having fun and I was enjoying it, so I thought solid to the rule. But the rest of the rules I stuck with 100%. I'll take you through this not because I think it's a masterpiece, but rather to open a discussion in the comments if people have any tips or if anyone finds it useful. I think the best tip is not to underestimate the power of the crop. I used the in-camera crop, but as you can see, no data is lost. From there, it's just minor adjustments, pulling down the highlights to reveal the colour in the sky. This is something you see a lot of people do. There's other ways of doing it as well, like using a mask. Next, I go into the tone curve, lifting the blacks. You can see I put these 4 points down, and just by lifting the blacks, you start to give the image a vintage look. And then I'm into the calibration tool, which is a pretty confusing and misunderstood tool. But I know by pulling down the blues, I can get an orange and teal look. Bosh. From there, just a quick play with the HSL sliders, dragging the yellows into more the browny red area, which gives you more of that autumn fall look. In case you're ever wondering why you can't change the colour of greens, it's most likely because it's the yellow slider that controls them. And there you go, quick 2-minute edit, completely changed the look of the image. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit subscribe and like it. I'm trying to hit 500 subs by summer. Thanks very much. See ya!